weary land. In a weary land. Oh, in a weary land. Jesus. In a weary land. Delta. He's a shelter.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, live at 9 tonight. Special guest, special place. What?
It is a special place. Like, this is our home away from home right here. We are live from above the bookstore. This is
Yes.
this is a different
It's
couch.
super warm up here.
It's warm.
Yeah.
It's very warm.
It's the
So-
Holy Ghost and fire.
Does anybody recognize the guest
Hey,
tonight
friends.
with us?
Hopefully.
So glad you're
Trimmed.
here.
Thank you.
You're all
Yeah.
trimmed. The
He
Yeah.
just come in
quarantine.
from off the road, so
Yes. So I'm telling you guys, hey, so excited you joined us tonight for Live at 9. Go ahead, drop those prayer requests in the comments. We're here to pray with you and for you. Tell us how your day was. Lots of comments coming in tonight about how awesome service was today. Tell us if you watched online. Tell us if you were on site. Tell us what service time y'all were joining us today. Lots of amazing
Evan
reports.
says, "What's up, David?"
What's
up,
up,
Evan?
David?
Hey, Pastor Evan.
And then,
Congratulations on that baby.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
Got a little spark plug in the church.
So guess what?
What?
A little congratulations are
Hey,
in order for you.
Thank you.
She's not on camera. She's on the other side of it
She
tonight.
is, yeah.
But you had something special happen during this quarantine.
I did. I decided to put a ring on it and get married during COVID. And
I couldn't be happier. You finally made that for the Lord.
Thank you. So yes, my little family grew during COVID, and
Yes.
so. By the way, I'm David. If you haven't met me, if you haven't got a thank you card from me in the mail, I'm David with Hope for Justice, and
Yes.
these two friends were like, "Hey, let's hang out." Oh, by the way, we're gonna go live in 30 minutes, so hope you're cool with that.
Yeah.
David was driving through town. We stopped. We went to Starbucks. I'm like, "Hey, by the way,
Yeah,
Come on.
let's do it.
Yeah, Live at 9 happening tonight. David Lord from Hope for Justice.
this is
as
what
you
we do
said.
to our friends.
I'm glad.
Yes.
You want a
Yes.
coffee and an interview."
I'm glad to be here.
Coffee and an interview. Hope for Justice,
Yep.
one of the most incredible organizations we support wholeheartedly, not just with talking about it, but
Yep.
financially we support Hope for
Yep.
Justice. Super excited to write the check,
Yeah.
$15,000, which was matched.
It was, yeah.
It was
15
matched.
games 30.
I know.
There's something biblical in there.
I love
I think
that.
so.
Yeah.
Love that. And so I'm excited. So I just give us a little bit of an update. Hope for Justice. How has this last year been? Quarantine. How's it been for Hope for Justice?
You know what? We have not slowed down.
Mm.
We have actually done the opposite, and we've expanded here in the U.S. and across the world. Traffickers haven't slowed down. If you're not familiar with Hope for Justice,
I started to say, tell us a little bit about Hope for Justice.
We fight human trafficking all over the world, including here in the United States. We're kind of uniquely placed in that we have undercover investigators that we can deploy anywhere in the states. We're fully accredited by the federal government to do that. Right now, we've got about 70 open cases across the U.S.,
Wow.
multiple cases here in Illinois. I actually was talking with my team earlier this week, getting details on those. And we do young and old, from
Wow.
babies, unfortunately. We've had 2 months old in our care who are already victims of sexual exploitation, all the way up to a woman who is in her late 70s here in the U.S. Any and all ages, we believe God called us to bring freedom and to set the captives free. And we believe physically we are called to set the captives free. So our team's been undercover almost every single day during COVID, shutting down brothels, shutting down, nail salons that aren't nail salons. And the other big change we've seen is just like we've all pivoted. Traffickers have pivoted. Our online
right?
activity has
Yeah.
gone up. Teenagers' online activity has gone up. Last week I was talking with one of our home directors, and 7 of the girls who have just come in the last 2 months to their home, all between the ages of 14 and 18, were recruited through one of the top 3 social media apps there is. I won't say it because they've got more attorneys than we do, but it's something you've all heard of. And so as we've pivoted online, so is the traffickers.
So what are so let's just talk practical here.
Yeah.
What are a few apps that traffickers are using? Can
Sure.
you talk about
That
that?
you can say.
That you
Yeah.
can say.
Here's-
And I guess as a parent of
Yeah,
a teenager,
I can say.
I kind of want to know like what are some apps
Right.
that maybe I need to be mindful of that maybe aren't as mainstream.
Yeah. Great
And
question.
just give us just a couple of them if you can.
I would always be on the lookout for any sort of chat-based app, first of all.
Okay, chat-based.
So if your kid's not willing to use their text messages,
Ah.
that should be a red flag to you. Why did you feel the need to download another app that your messages are disappearing within 30 seconds or 10 seconds.
I think we
right?
should share this broadcast out so
Yeah.
all the parents can see this.
Yes.
What
Right.
he's talking about right
So,
now.
Yes.
for example, if you send a text, your phone keeps a record of that. Mom, dad can go pull every call, every text on the phone record. If I go on an internet-based app, it doesn't keep that info, or your teenager has the code, so you can't access that info. And so I would say, first and foremost, any app that is not messaging. It's weird to me that in the age of unlimited texting, like when I was a kid, my dad would send me the bill.
Yeah.
You sent 48 texts this month.
Exactly.
You owe me $4.80,
Exactly.
right? Like we don't have that anymore, so it's odd to use
another
why
app
is she just
or
sending your
another-
text?
yeah.
So that would be one big red flag I would say. The other thing is anytime, it's like fishing. You want to go to the stocked lake. And so traffickers are going to go to the places they're most likely to catch a fish or where there's no competition. So
that's good. That's a good reminder right there.
Yeah.
Where it's fully stocked or where there's no competition.
right.
And so being mindful of that. So again, Hope for Justice, one of
Yeah.
the most incredible organizations I have ever come
sweet.
across. No, you know how much I'm
Yeah.
a huge. We were privileged,
Yeah.
honored to be able to host Ben Cooley,
Yeah.
founder of Hope for Justice.
Almost
In
a little over a year.
a little over a year
less
ago
than
in
a year
February,
ago.
right before all of this
Yeah.
COVID craziness started.
Yeah.
And so, tell us a little bit about this. Is not just a U.S.
No,
This
yeah.
was actually not even originated in the U.S. Tell us a little bit about where it started,
Yeah.
and share with us a little bit about the heart that
Right.
Ben has for the world and how you guys have partnered with organizations. Ben has written books. The first nonfiction book I read all the way through.
Come on. Hello. I'll tell
That is a miracle.
That was a
with them.
miracle.
Melissa
Yeah.
read a nonfiction book.
This was before 75 Hard started. So,
I love
but yeah. So tell us a little bit about how did it start? What was the premise of it?
Absolutely.
Like when did it start? All those things. Give us a
Well,
little bit of background.
Like America, we were founded by Brits, basically.
Yeah,
so
Ben's
is Hope for
pretty good about
Justice.
saying that.
Yeah, he likes to point that out. I will say Ben is currently in the United States because he got special permission by our State Department to actually come here. It's, I think, one of only 3,000 British nationals in the United States because he believes in America so much. And so since
awesome.
in the last 6 months alone, we've doubled our staff in the United States. We've added 4 more states. We've opened 5 more homes.
That
for
is
girls and
amazing.
boys
Give
to
some
come in.
hand claps in the
Yeah.
comments for that.
Yeah,
So-
I mean,
That
it's
is
something,
amazing.
It's weird to say we're thankful for that because the more staffing that comes here,
Yeah.
we're realizing
Yeah.
that, and I think we used this statistic when we were talking about Hope for Justice, that when this church, when Melissa and I first got involved in human trafficking, the number was like 27 million
Right.
people that were involved in human trafficking. And now it's 43 million or
Yep.
so
Yep.
that are involved. And so it's just increasing and it's exploding.
Yeah.
And you have to, it's like we need a church in every corner.
Yeah.
Now you almost need a
Yeah.
human trafficker
Absolutely.
investigator on every corner. I'm thankful that you're growing staff, but then I'm saddened the fact that we have to.
Right,
Yeah.
right. As you say, there's
You know.
a catch-22 for that, but I am thankful that the help is there
Yeah.
to help bring freedom
Absolutely.
and to bring justice and all those different things.
Yeah, I like to tell people I wish I didn't have my job, but I'm
Yeah.
privileged that I get to have it.
Yeah.
Like we're in the 21st century in America, and we've got traffickers here in the States making over 30 grand a week. We're seeing, on average, there's a case of trafficking in the United States every 45 minutes.
Wow.
That's something you hear about, like
Wow.
car wrecks and heart attack, but no, we're talking children bought and
Every-
sold.
45
Children
minutes.
bought and sold.
Yeah, globally, we estimate there's about 2 children every minute that are bought or sold in the trafficking trade. Like you said, 40 million. Some of them are controlled by governments. Some Asian governments actually sell their citizens. You can go online really easily on reputable news sources, let me say that, and easily find out about how countries like China sell millions of citizens to other countries to make money. So we're definitely behind the 8 ball. I spent this week talking with some of the largest gaming companies, online gaming companies in the world, about how can we get in front of something. Because in this area, the FBI, other sources tell us it's the fastest growing crime in the world. Like, it's growing faster than drugs. we're looking at $150 billion in profit. It's like we're behind, and
Absolutely.
first world's behind, and so we've got to catch up. And
Well, it was like the one drug dealer said. He goes, "I sell cocaine or heroin. I sell it once.
sell it one time.
I grab a child. I can sell
Yeah.
that child repeatedly,
Yeah.
over and over and over again, and make more money each sale than I was making
Right.
on the one-time sale of whatever drug that they were
Right.
pushing." And so the children have become such a commodity
Yeah.
to these traffickers, and I think that's what broke my heart was when we first started. Of course, when we first learned about it, it was Moldova, which
Sure.
Eastern
Right,
Europe,
right.
these Eastern European countries, Greece,
Right.
those
Yeah.
things, and then you come in and bust my bubble that it is not.
Yeah, it's
It is
inherent.
not a Europe
Carbon
problem.
dioxide.
It's not an
Exactly.
Asia
Yeah.
problem. This is my hometown problem.
Right.
And we can't, we all want to talk about the missions field from a Christian perspective, like, oh, we want to win Africa to the
Right.
Lord. Meanwhile, there's literally hell going on in
Yeah.
our own cities.
Yeah.
Amen.
And
Amen.
so I thank
Amen.
you for the work that you
Oh,
do.
yeah.
What I do is easy compared to what you do. And I thank you for that
Yeah.
and the sacrifice, stepping out of church ministry and going into that.
Yeah.
And you may not hear this much, but we honor you for that.
I started to say, I think to just get, number one, David has become a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a friend, and he's a friend to everyone. He's amazing. But I think to just talk about you personally for just a moment and to give you the honor. I mean, you left church ministry. You left a position that you were absolutely thriving in. I mean, doing next gen pastor.
Yeah.
I mean, overseeing kids and all these different ministries. And what a blessing you were to your pastor. Your
Yeah.
senior pastors, your pastoral team, and how you just stepped out of what was known, what was familiar, what was comfortable, what was safe,
Yeah.
and said, you know what, this is something that I have a heart for, and I want to take
Yeah.
that step. And how many times has God? I mean, you're watching tonight. How many times has God just prompted your heart to do something that's out of your comfort zone?
Yeah.
That's taking that step of faith, taking that leap of faith, and it looks like, woo, what's the next
Right.
step? And you actually walked that out, walked in and stepped into this role with Hope for Justice, and I didn't know when you were on
Yeah.
pastoral staff, but I mean, I watch you in this role, and I can't think of a better fit.
Oh,
Like,
you're
you
sweet.
have such a heart for the kingdom. Number one, you want to see people come to know Jesus, but you have such a heart for freedom
Yeah.
and justice. And I mean, the work that you guys are doing with Hope for Justice is absolutely amazing. Listen, you can partner with Hope for Justice personally. Now,
Yeah.
SIWC, Southern Illinois
Mhm.
Worship Center, we're supporters of Hope for Justice. We
Something we're very committed
Yeah.
to.
very committed to. And listen, you can go on their website. It's hopeforjustice.org.
Yep.
Hope for Justice. It's all spelled out.
Mhm.
And I'm sure if Justin Venus is on tonight, he's going to put that link in the comments. I mean, he's awesome
Yeah.
like that. Hopeforjustice.org. You can partner.
Yeah, we call them guardians, our monthly partners.
Love that.
Last year alone, you were talking about kids, and, we had over 100,000 kids in our programs.
100,000
On average, we get about 3 children home every single day.
So just to put that in perspective for you in Southern
Wow.
Illinois, that's pretty much Franklin and Williamson counties.
Yeah.
If every person in our county would have been in their care,
Yeah.
that's how many children are in their care.
So, when somebody's talking to me, and even my life, it's like, I'm not just donating to Hope for Justice, I'm not just partnering, but it's truly, I feel like you're investing in a kid or investing in an
Absolutely.
adult. And it's like, I'm investing in changing someone's life. Like,
Absolutely.
if you view it as a donation, it's not from the heart. God tells us to be a cheerful giver, and I'm like, you're not just, hey, thanks for your money, I'll see you later, but it's, whose life am I changing? And you'll never know.
Absolutely.
Like, I work tirelessly, my team's out there undercover in some of the most horrific situations you can imagine. And it's not for us. It's like,
come
I
on,
want that
come
next
on.
one. I had the honor of getting to be there when a girl was reunited with her dad.
Oh,
And
but that was the most incredible.
yeah,
moment.
like I grew up hearing about the prodigal son, and the dad saw him across, and it was like, I was sitting next to the girl. She didn't know her dad was
Oh,
coming
my
that day.
goodness.
And
That
the
makes me want
gate
to cry.
opened. I'll never forget the sound she made. It wasn't a scream, it wasn't a yell. She laid him out like a full Notre Dame
Yeah.
tackle.
Yes.
Come on.
For you, Pastor
There ain't
James.
no roll tide in that.
Yes,
That's
I
all
started
fighting
to
Irish
say-
right there.
And I'm not here to raise money, just like
No,
I
no.
love the
No,
McKinnies.
No, listen.
no.
But if you want to partner with me,
This
we
is
love
all
it.
this, literally. I mean, I think
Yeah.
one day last week you called me and said, "Hey, I'm going to be in the area,"
Yeah.
and of course, anytime David's in the area, we're going to take advantage of just hanging out
Yeah.
together as friends.
Absolutely. Well, his wife is incredible too. Though.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't talked about her yet, but she is absolutely amazing. One of the sweetest people you'll ever meet.
But when you find
Yes.
people
Talented.
who are
super
passionate
talented.
about what they do,
Yeah.
every one of our conversations always comes around to ministry, either what we do or what you do,
Well,
because this is what we are. This is what
Yeah.
we do, and it's who we are.
yeah.
And there's a lot of so it just he didn't even ask to be on air, so he's not raising money.
Yeah.
No.
It
In
was-
fact, I even said, we can get halfway through, and then
Yeah.
if you want
Yeah,
to
if you
scoot
want-
out,
you let
just
us
go
say when I-
relax over in the chairs while we finish this out.
Yeah, but I think it's important for us. I think so many people are caught up in the history of slavery and trafficking, but we are ignoring the fact that it hasn't ended.
Yeah. There's more right now than at
Yeah.
any point in human history.
And so
Wow.
I would tell you, my belief is the best way we can right certain wrongs is to stop it from ever happening again.
Amen.
And it just is just getting worse and worse and worse, and we are digressing as a society. And I think a lot of people thought that during the pandemic that everybody went into isolation and everybody went into lockdown.
Yeah.
Well, the criminals did not,
Yeah.
and the traffickers certainly did not. And your analogy about the pond, you're going to go where it stopped.
Right.
Well, when we brought everybody in and everybody got on their phones and got on the iPads,
Yeah.
we further stocked a
Yes.
pond
Right.
Yes.
with fresh
Yes.
resources all the time.
Yes.
And like one guy said, you I think there's some rules you talk about with parents and
Yeah.
their children's phones.
Yeah.
Do you want to go through some of those?
Yeah,
a little
absolutely.
bit?
I just say, share with us just some things. I mean, give us some information.
So
Yeah.
all you
Empower
parents
us.
who have
Knowledge-
children at home
Yeah.
that are
Knowledge
still
is power.
accountable to you, like if they're under your roof and you're paying the bill,
Yeah.
that would make them accountable to you.
And listen,
So-
maybe you don't have children. Before David gets into this, maybe you don't have children, but maybe you have grandchildren, or maybe you know someone who has children. Maybe you're a teacher. Maybe you're a
Yeah.
nurse. I mean, there's so many different things. So I just, this knowledge is power. And so give us just a little bit
Yeah.
of things that we can be, like some rules in this.
Yeah. So phone,
I'm ready.
phone one definitely. To me, you wouldn't leave your front door open, but the phone's the front door of your child's life. You wouldn't go to sleep and you check the locks, and right now the phone is a gateway. And
Yes.
so what I tell parents is, one, you need to make no phone zones. Why is your kid's phone in your bedroom?
In their bedroom.
Why,
Yeah.
why do you need to take that phone and have that conversation at 11 o'clock at night? If you'd like to have it, you can stay in the living room, but it doesn't need to go in there. Why is your phone going in the bathroom? Doesn't need to be in the bathroom. We see time and time again children who build a relationship with someone online. Maybe they met them in a video game, right? So they think, hey, this person's like me. They like the games they like. We just built up a conversation. If you don't know, basically every video game you can play online and talk to people live
Has a
through your
chat
video
too.
game. Has a chat.
Yes.
And so, it leads to a road where they ask for information or they get a photograph. Well, your child's not going to take that photograph in the living room where your mom and dad are. They're not going to take it in the kitchen. Where are they going to take it? Either in the bathroom or their bedroom. So we say, hey, make some no phone zones. They'll hate you for it at first, but they'll thank you for it later in life when they hear stories of what their friends have gone through. Even if it's not trafficker, just dating 13-year-old girls and 13-year-old
Well, and
boys.
what you're putting on social
Exactly.
media comes back to haunt you.
Yeah. I would also say make sure that you are the one who
Can't come back.
downloads apps, not your children. I think it's weird that, your kid can't really go to the store and buy something, but they can download any app they want because they
That's
know
good.
the password. And so I like to tell parents, hey, you need to be the one who knows the password to download the app, not
That's
your
good.
kid, right?
That's good.
They can have the password to unlock their phone, great, but to download something, you need to know what they're buying. You need to know, okay, well, why do you want this chat app?
Well, because everybody else is doing it.
Exactly. So,
And I think I'll interrupt you right there.
Yeah.
I think being aware
absolutely.
of what apps do what.
Right. Yeah.
Educate yourself. If your child is wanting to add something, really educate yourself on it. Don't just do like a quick search. Dive deep. Like
Yeah.
is what's like you said, messages disappearing after
Right.
30 seconds and things like that. Like if it's a hidden button or a
Yeah.
hidden combination on there. Some apps, may seem innocent.
Yeah.
And they might be if used properly.
Yeah.
But we all know there's backdoors, there's
You know,
different things.
we dealt with a situation here a few years ago where the parents did not allow the child to have a phone,
Thank you, Chrissy.
but they had an iPod,
Yeah.
a touch
It's-
iPod, and the iPod had internet access, and because the iPod had internet access, it basically turned it into a
Right.
phone without the ability to
Right.
receive a phone call. But it could do the messaging,
Yep.
and the app that was being used was an app called Kick.
Yeah.
And sure enough, got
I don't even know if that app is still in
the
existence.
trafficker,
It is.
if you will,
I have no idea.
was grooming.
Yep.
And then the child just walked right out the door. So it
Yeah.
wasn't an abduction.
Right.
It was a willing
Yep.
walk away,
Yep.
all through an iPod.
Absolutely.
It wasn't a phone. And so some of us say, well, my kid doesn't have a phone, but if they have a tablet.
Tablet.
If they have access to the internet,
Yeah.
then you have to
mindful.
then be the gatekeeper
Yeah.
Yeah.
to keep their gateways closed.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I would point out,
Sorry, I interrupted you.
you're great. The Bible says God didn't give us a spirit of fear.
Yeah.
Yes.
We go
yes.
all over the country, and I don't want you to have a spirit of fear. I want you to know the most important thing you can do to protect your kid is to love them, first of all.
Yes. That's
right?
so good.
To have the conversation before you need to have the
Yeah.
conversation.
That's
good.
key.
Because if you're coming to your child and they've already messed up, or they feel like you're attacking them, like, hang on, mom, you're not
That-
going to get anywhere. So
that
have
right
it.
there
I'm-
is so
I'm-
good.
Yeah.
You know when to have the conversation, know
Yeah.
how to have the conversation. Pray.
Yeah.
Ask God to show you
Right.
when to have that, how to have that. That is such a key thing. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. I love her. She's hilarious. So yeah, I would have the
I hope
conversation
that I'm
early.
hilarious in a good way.
Yes. Yes.
I'm staying out of that one.
And another thing, just when you do download an app or a video game, make sure you turn off location settings. So this may sound weird, and you might have to go through a few screens, but we've got guys who unfortunately can find out exactly where you live through an app or video game because you've got your location setting on. And to a teenager, they might think, "Hey, I'm on Snapchat. It's cool that Snapchat knows I'm at the festival." Well, that means everyone else can see exactly where they're at all times. So I would just strongly advise turn off location settings.
One of the rules here for Melissa and I, from our security team, is we're not allowed to post a picture where we are currently at.
Yeah.
So if I'm telling the world that I'm out of town, then everybody who's on my page knows I'm out of town. Or if they want to find me, they
Yeah.
know I just told them where I was at through geocoding or
Right.
geocaching. So many people, well, we want to see your life. You will see my life after it happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will share,
That's great.
like, I'm here, but I'm actually at home.
Yeah.
And that's all a security measure for our lives so that we're not giving away
Yeah.
our secrets,
Yeah.
if you will. The other thing, we were talking about this, you said, well, we don't want you to live in fear. The scripture also says that we're not ignorant of his devices. And what we're trying to do today is to bring information to you, because ignorance means lacking information. We want you to have the information. And I think the enemy preys on us being naive, and he preys on us being ignorant. And so, and our kids today know more about computers,
Yeah.
phones,
Oh,
and
my
iPads
goodness.
than we do. And so our children use our ignorance against us.
Yeah.
But that is the gateway that the enemy is using to attack our children. Encouraging. We dealt with this today in our church services, self-harm to our kids.
Yes.
And your key there about loving them.
Yeah.
Your children should be able to open up to you and tell you the struggles that they're having and not be afraid of your reaction.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
they're
that's
afraid of your reaction, then they're going to close up and they're going to find another avenue to discuss what they're dealing with. And what you
That
might have
avenue.
done is forced them to an avenue of a trafficker who is building up their confidence but is actually grooming them
I'm sorry
to
to
take
say.
advantage of them.
Yeah.
So, and at the 11 o'clock service today, Ben Puckett gave this word about fathers being fathers.
Yes.
And we
yes.
men have got to step up, especially with our daughters, and build their confidence up so that other people aren't building a false confidence in our children so that they can take advantage of them.
And you know, I'm a parent. There's times that my kids have said something that I probably didn't handle it the right way. You know, probably overreacted or whatever. Listen, you're not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
That's not what we're. That's not what any of us on this couch tonight is
Right.
telling you to be.
No.
But to be mindful that of our reactions when our kids do bring something to us, or when we discover something, or you know how we handle it, because we can send them down an avenue into the arms, into the chat sites,
Yeah.
into the back doors, right into the hands of the enemy in the form of a trafficker or different things like that. So that's
So-
really good. What was you going to say?
If your kid doesn't think you're their outlet, they're going to find an outlet, right? Like
It's going to
steam in
come
a
out.
pot's going to come out somewhere, and we've got cases where, they went online and they said, "My mom sucks. My mom's been such a jerk today," and you might think, "Why would anyone talk to my teenage daughter, teenage son?" Well, I can immediately reply
Yep.
with a totally fake persona. They think I'm another teenager, right?
Come
and
on.
say, "My mom's a jerk too. She did da 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 da."
And then
to
the
me,
relationship
and
formed.
There you go. So,
The
Because
outlet-
they found common
The outlet
ground.
has now developed.
Yes.
So
Yes.
while you're watching, if you have a question, put it
Yeah.
in the comments. If he can answer it, we'll do our best to answer it. There may be some things that we won't
Right.
talk about.
Absolutely.
You and I have a lot of private discussions about things that we
Yeah.
watch and read and things like
So
that.
I read the book. Read both of the books actually.
oh yeah, I never told you how we came to America.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. How did we come to America?
yeah. So,
How did
is
Hope
this
for
coming
Justice?
to America Part 3? I mean, what's going on?
very different.
How did
Yeah.
Hope for Justice come across the pond?
Yeah. So 11 years ago, our founder was an opera singer full time, his job.
I know.
And one night he was a stagehand at an event raising awareness. Didn't know what it was about, just was there, and learned about human trafficking. And he left and he thought, if those were my two daughters, I would do something about it. I wouldn't just hear it and come home. And he was in the singing world, and so he decided, I'm going to get some of my friends together, a band called Delirious. I don't know if any 90s Christians are on this call. And other great
Yes.
friends got together.
Who remembers Delirious?
I'm not gonna
I
admit-
remember
I'm not
Delirious.
gonna
I am
admit to
totally
anything.
showing my age.
I love Delirious.
Come on, boys to men.
Totally. I'm Boys to Men too. But Delirious.
They actually had over 5,000 people come to an event, and he thought it would just be a little church thing. And so out of that, Hope for
Is
Justice
this
was
when
born.
he did like the big event? He just booked this
Yeah,
thing.
booked an
and
arena.
He booked an arena. Had no clue
clue.
how he was going to fill it.
Yeah,
And my favorite part of this whole story is when he called to get how much it was going to be, and
The
they
lights.
said, this is how much it'll be to rent the building, and that's without toilets.
yeah.
That is
Yeah.
probably my favorite. That's like the thing I remember the most about
Yeah.
the whole story. Like, that's without toilets.
Yeah,
Like
it was a little
how in the
expensive.
world? Like
So our project grew. What Ben's done really well is he's humble, and so he doesn't ever
Yes.
feel like he's the smartest man in the room, and he's hired people from all walks of life
Yes.
who, I got one guy on our staff who's been knighted by the Queen of England because of his police work. Like, who do you want to go talk to the police but a guy that you have to say, "Dear Sir Peter," here in the U.S., our head trainer was the head trainer for that guy. So,
I can't wait till you get knighted. You'll be
oh yeah, Sir
you'll be
Lord.
Sir
Sir
Lord.
Lord.
Yeah. So we grew, and then I don't know if you're familiar, a woman named Charlotte Gamble.
Yeah.
And so Charlotte
Are we familiar with Charlotte Gamble?
and Steve are great friends of Hope for Justice, and actually were running an office through their church at one point, and seeing lives rescued through their church. And here in the United States, a great friend of Charlotte's is Natalie Grant.
Natalie Grant.
And Natalie
They
had
are
an organization.
besties for the resties.
Yep, Dare to Be. They had an organization based out of Nashville that was operating a rescue home in Cambodia. And Charlotte said, "Nat, come on, you're on the road. Like, this is your heart, this is your passion, but it's not the skill God gave you. God gave you a voice. Use your voice to set people free." And she introduced Natalie and Ben. They became great friends. And so that's how Hope for Justice first opened up in the U.S. and expanded here. But now we're in over 35 locations across the world, five states here in the U.S. and growing. Our vision is
That's
in the
amazing.
U.S. that we'll we'll have teams in every state within the next 5 years.
That's amazing.
Because sadly, we need to. We were with the State Department. I was at the White House just a few months ago, meeting with the president's team, talking about not just like, hey, we want a home and we're going to have victims, but how can we really get ahead of the curve?
That's awesome.
And so we're meeting with some of the biggest companies in the world, like IBM, who are helping develop technology. We're working with space agencies to track trafficking from space, if you can believe that.
That is insane.
So, I love it. You brought up earlier that mission field is our backyard, and that's what Jeremy Home for Justice is. We are a home
Amen.
and a broad strategy. We
Amen.
are helping the third world. We are helping the developing world. But if you needed me tonight, I can deploy my team tonight. And I love that because I've gotten to do that for friends and family, sadly, who, hey, I think something's up. Can you help? And our team's been able to be there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
So
awesome.
the first question was, out of the 100,000 children that were in your care, what would be the percentage of breakdown of boys and girls?
Yeah, most all trafficking, but not all, is females. We do run a handful of full-on homes just for boys.
Wow.
We've identified it as kind of one of the biggest needs in America because there are predominantly homes for females, but males do make up a large percentage of trafficking in the U.S. So I would say globally, we run probably 20% of ours are boys and 80% are girls, if I had to put a number up.
And so that percentage of those is a little different in America.
Yeah, a little different in America, simply because, unfortunately, females are so much more likely to be trafficked here than males. We do see a lot more males in the labor trafficking world, but with the growing emergence of what's my identity and that whole other movement, which we won't get into tonight, we are seeing sex trafficking of boys and men growing here in the U.S.
And what you just said there is very good. I think sometimes we think of just human trafficking in the sense of sex trafficking.
Yeah,
But there is a labor
absolutely.
trafficking, and that is a huge problem around the world as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And so expound just a little bit on, like, if somebody was to say labor trafficking,
Yeah.
what exactly does that mean? Like, what's
Sure.
the scenario? Just give us like some scenarios.
Yeah, a couple quick ones. Maybe you're in a restaurant and it's a family-run restaurant, but really none of the staff are being paid. They might be living there, or someone might have said, hey, you can come over from another country, but you're going to have to work for me.
Wow.
And so they're living on site. We've got construction crews in America where they're living on site of the construction, in the shed out back. But we also have cases where companies equivalent to like our Target, our Nordstrom's, they buy mattresses from somewhere, and somewhere else down the line makes them. And we've done raids of
Wow.
those factories where they're living in the factory and making these high-end products. So it's usually a supply chain related item. 7 of the top Fortune 500 companies come to us to investigate their supply chains because, yes, Ford says, hey, we want to hire people that aren't victims of human trafficking, but their supply chain's
How do they know?
thousands of pieces long.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're able to dig down. And so labor trafficking, we've got governments selling construction crews all over the
Wow.
world. So you're forcing someone to work for your profit.
And one of the scenarios in the book, if you read the books by Ben Cooley, you'll see a lot of these different scenarios play out. But one of them is taking passports.
Yeah.
And having them work, and they never quite earn that passport.
Right.
And just different things like that. We've heard of the term coyotes and different. There's so many different things in there. So. When we talk about human trafficking, of course, there's sex trafficking, but there's also labor trafficking. And so that is just one of those things that doesn't maybe get enough attention, but it is a real problem.
Yeah. And
it's a real problem.
And I'll say this, because the political spectrum on both sides of the aisle often uses human trafficking as a talking point, right? Because what American would say, no, I shouldn't get behind anti-trafficking.
Yeah.
Most trafficking for the last decade in the United States, most cases are not immigrants. It's not illegal immigrants. They are U.S. citizens, make up the majority of cases in the U.S.
Wow.
So yes, is there exploitation of immigrants? Absolutely. We've worked with Border Patrol for a reason, but We're also talking just, hey, someone was down on their luck, became an
Yeah.
alcoholic, ended up homeless, and somebody drove down the street and said, hey, you want to come work for me? I'll give you a hot meal.
And thus it began.
And so, you
Wow.
know, it's not just, I want to make sure everyone knows, it's not just what you see on the news.
Well, and I just want to be clear. Anti-human trafficking, I mean, to be against human trafficking, that's not a political issue in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Sorry.
Well, it's a basic human right
That is
issue.
a basic human right. This is a human problem, and we are all about
Yeah.
life and freedom and justice and all those things. So yeah, I just want to be clear about that. That's my personality coming out.
Do I get a would you rather question? I've heard you guys.
I don't know if you're
got a
gonna
would you
get.
rather. You can feel free to submit. I'll take one of those fun
He's
ones,
like on the
too.
hot seat right
I
now.
don't want to just be the sad
You know what?
guy.
I think I can
Well,
come up with a would you
well,
rather question.
So we'll take
tonight.
one more question once you
Yeah,
get a would you
please.
rather, and we'll
Yes.
do a little
Here we
levity.
go.
What recommendations do you have for parents? Like, are there resources where they can learn about threats and keep up to date?
Ooh.
That's a great question. First of all, I would say please follow us on social media. If you're watching
Yes.
this video right now, it
Yeah.
means you know how to use Facebook or YouTube. And so we often, at least every month, are posting like, hey, here's kind of trends. Like, did you know that 83% of girls play a video game? I would have thought the number was much lower. And you might think, I've got a teenage girl, she's not really video games. My son, he's the one that plays Fortnite all day. The truth is, 83% of females are playing video games right now. So,
Wow.
you know, one, follow us, Instagram, Facebook. There are tools out there, you know, if you want to dive deeper, we're not going to do it now, but like Illinois Info, you can go on the human trafficking hotline. There is a national human trafficking hotline, and you can see the heat map. And I can show you Heron on the heat map. I can show you Carbondale of the cases in the area. But when it comes to resources, our friends at 821 have a great teen packet. You can go on their website and download that. That's
And I
one
believe that website is a21.org.
Yeah, great friends of ours. Nick and Chris
821. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great one for how to talk to your teens. What are 4 things I should talk about? I would definitely recommend that. Sadly, it's a space that there hasn't been a ton of investment in. You know, the most up-to-date studies are usually 10 years old. And it's not like traffickers say, I'm over here, come survey me. Thankfully, President Trump, you know, I believe in honoring the president. Thankfully, President Trump quadrupled funding in the human trafficking space over previous administrations and was actually the first president to ever attend the Human Trafficking President's Council. He was the first one to ever actually show up in a meeting. And so we're seeing new stats, new numbers growing, but we're definitely behind the ball. And so, you know, people say, hey, tell me. And it's like, I wish I knew, but the money hasn't been there. And so we're growing, but I would recommend if you want to learn local, human trafficking hotline for sure.
Yeah. Wow.
And read Ben's book. It's on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's called Impossible is a Dare.
We need
I'll
to
plug
read-
my boss.
We'll make sure that gets in the
And
bookstore
he's
too.
going to come back because this building is amazing. Can I plug this building for a minute? I just got a little tour, and I can tell you guys, it's going to be game-changing for this community. I'm so excited about what you've created here. You should be proud. These two, man, they're all-stars. You guys are really
we're not
doing
all
amazing.
stars. We're not all stars. In fact,
We're
I
going
want
to be here opening night. You better believe it. I want my invite. I don't care if there's COVID-22 that year or COVID-21. I'll triple mask. I'll put on Darth Vader's helmet. But I'm going to be in this house that night.
That is awesome. Well, I want to give a shout out to another all-star. Joyce says a big thank you to whoever is
Justin
posting
and Ashley.
the site addresses as they are mentioned.
I've been throwing them up.
Huge shout out to Justin and Ashley tonight for jumping right in there. So David has asked for a would you rather question because we all know that Live at 9 started in the pandemic, and one of the things that we did to break up the nightly, like the mundane of the days that seem to all run together, was do Live at 9 and ask would you rather questions. Now I asked some really funny would you rather questions.
Let's go with her claiming that her questions were funny. She's claiming that.
You know,
This is the funniest thing I've seen, though.
you know,
Lori Lloyd said, Luke, I'm your father. And automatically I went, Lord.
Lord, I am your father.
Which is now what Leslie is saying to David.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I have a would you rather question, but this is kind of like it's not funny. You got
Fine.
You ready
You
for
just
this?
said you did funny
Brownies.
ones, and then she prefaces it with saying,
Okay.
"This is not funny."
Brownie
Okay.
a la mode. That's my answer.
Okay, so listen, you have a dog, right?
Yeah, Winston. He's here in Aaron.
He's here in
He's named
here.
after Churchill, right?
Yes, he's an English setter.
Winston.
Yeah.
Well, that's just a really cool name, isn't it,
Yeah.
guys? I mean, it sure
One
beats
thing-
Marlo and Lucy.
One thing you learn about David, and especially even Leslie, is it's high class,
High class and super creative.
creative.
Yeah.
So
On my
David,
charity budget.
David,
Let me add that in there. High
Dave-
class
David
budget.
sends me this letter. He's like, "Thank you for hosting me and all this," and it has a wax stamp on it, and I'm like, "David, how did you do this?" Next thing I know, I get the whole kit of how to do
Yeah.
it, and I've not yet used it because I'm afraid I'm gonna burn myself.
You need to help.
He's had it for a year.
I know.
A
You need to
year.
help him. You need to help him.
man! I mean, the
We're
whole
doing
kit,
it
you know.
tomorrow.
Yes.
Everyone on this
He
weekend
custom made me
and,
this whole kit, and I'm like, "This is beautiful to look at. It's out of my office. It's beautiful to look at. I wish David was here to use it."
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, there we
Request
go.
your seal right now, everybody. We'll ship them out.
Okay, are you ready for this question?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Would you rather be a Notre Dame fan or a Georgia fan?
Oh, I'm in this house. I'm a Notre Dame fan every day in this house. I know where the lead.
But if you're not in this house,
you know what? Rudy makes me cry every time.
Hey, there you go.
Oh.
Georgia doesn't have Rudy.
I mean,
Georgia.
So,
come on with it, Crimson Tide people. You don't have a Rudy.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm
that's
St.
hilarious.
Louis boy.
Holy Films.
Yeah.
St. Louis. Well, they don't have a football team.
Exactly. So
They bring their houndstooth
go
hats out.
green.
Now, when it comes to baseball, though,
Yeah, Cardinals all the way.
Cardinals all the way. Sorry, all you Cubs
Oh
fans.
God, I'm sorry.
Sorry, all you White Sox
Reach
fans.
out right now in Jesus' name.
Here comes all the roll
Reach
tides.
out. Touch the screen. Touch the screen. Okay, listen. Would you rather? Now, you guys have to answer this in the comments too. So this
Yes.
is not just us talking. You guys have to answer this in the comments. This is what makes Live at
Well,
9.
you all know this. Melissa never answers them.
Oh my goodness.
She's
I
never
really
answered a
don't.
would you rather.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Would you rather be able to see what was behind every closed door or be able to guess the combination of every safe on the first try?
I know what I'm picking.
So, would you rather be able to see behind every closed door or be able to guess the combination of every safe on the first try? I told you this was a doozy.
Whoa.
But hey,
Behind every closed door may be things you don't want to see.
Yeah, I've been to enough men's sporting events. I'm not picking that one.
I was thinking like if there was treasure on the other side
Your-
of the closed
Your
door.
nephew
I'm
Jack.
practical.
Your nephew Jack
Yeah.
doesn't need it. You know.
No, but I haven't opened enough doors with treasure behind them.
I was-
Can't
I
find
was-
all the men's bathrooms.
See, like everyone's like, you know what? Like
No.
combination, every
Yeah.
save, the first try. It's scary sometimes when the door opens. John's saying that.
Yeah.
Guess combinations. See behind closed doors, but can we put on blinders if needed?
I would put the blinders on way
There we
ahead
go.
of time.
Safe. Everyone's like safe, but hey, there we go. This is awesome. There's treasure behind the safe. See, now there's somebody that just totally thought that through. Go, Alana. All right, so here we go. You ready for the next
I
question?
would just be happy with the combination to all the doors here in the church.
I know. I went to open a door the other day, and I'm like, I can't get in there. Like, what in the world?
We're finally moving
Okay.
to these new door locks where I can walk up and jiggle my phone in front of them. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's a treasure, okay, safes, because God knows I don't want to see behind some doors. There we
Yeah.
go. All right, here's our next question. Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready, I think.
You ready?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Would you rather be able to control animals but not humans with your mind,
yes.
or control electronics with your mind? So would you rather be able to control animals, not humans,
Yeah.
animals, think Winston here,
I've got my answer.
or control electronics with your mind? So would you rather control animals, not humans, with your mind,
Yeah.
or control electronics.
The problem
with
with
your
putting
mind.
electronics in your mind is that ultimately the electronics wind up controlling you. So my answer is definitely control my animals to stop chewing up socks.
Yeah.
To
Lucy
stop
likes
jumping
to
in the
eat
bed and
socks.
sleeping with us.
Yeah.
Lucy eats socks.
No, not Lucy.
Oh, Marlo. See, I don't even know my dogs right now.
We have two dogs. One is Marlo. She's black in color, and she's my dog. We have Lucy. She's golden color. She's your dog.
Yes, my dog doesn't eat socks. My dog just doesn't know where she's at half the time. But you know what? Her and I, we go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Pastor Evan agrees with me on the combinations.
All right, here we go.
Animals.
Animals. Like, seriously, animals.
Yeah.
Electronics. Go, Justin.
If she'd have kept that up, I'd almost said it was like she's old school Pentecost seeking the Holy Ghost. Animals. Just say,
Animals.
say it 1,000 times. Really
All right.
Hold on, let go.
Hold on, let go. All right. I already control the animals in my house. It's a zoo here.
Okay.
Now, are we talking about your children or your actual animals?
Yeah.
Yeah. Electronics, animals with my mind, because that would be awesome. So would you
Be a Dr. Doolittle?
So what's your answer?
Animals.
Animals.
Yeah.
Like, what's the one thing that you wish you could control, like Winston doing? I want to know. What does your dog
I
do?
just would like. He's he's active. He's made to hunt, and so there's times where he's on the hunt, and I need him to calm down. So it'd be nice to calm him down.
Leslie will calm me down.
Yeah,
They-
but I do
just
like I love
Winston.
nature.
Lay
So,
down.
but was
But I hate
Winston
zoos,
was
so.
Winston, before marriage, or was Winston a marriage?
Leslie was when he's pup.
I
when
should
he-
say
yeah.
Winston was
Wait a minute.
before.
Yeah, I was just say I remember you buying her the
Yeah.
dog, and I said, "Why are you buying her a dog when you should be buying her a ring?" I remember this conversation now.
I'm sure many of
Yeah,
you.
Leslie's
have
like,
had
yeah, I remember that
similar
conversation.
Conversations with
Wasn't
Pastor
this-
Jason.
Wasn't
Sure.
this in
We're now on marriage talk.
You feel like it. You love it.
I was at a conference. You weren't there, but Leslie was there, and I said, "Hey, listen. At some point, Lord's got to turn you out of a Ford."
There we go.
And sure enough, man, I get a text from you that says, "Oh, by the way, I'm getting married." Of course, COVID, we couldn't go to it because I would have been down front.
Absolutely.
I would have been down front cheering and screaming, and I'm known to bust up weddings with confetti and all kinds of stuff. I would have been doing that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Our
I have
wedding,
embarrassed Melissa so much at weddings.
We were so paid back at our wedding. All the pranks that he played.
So we had
all
nine.
the
We had
weddings,
9 groomsmen
we
and 9
We
bridesmaids.
didn't have 9.
Or was it
We
8?
had 8.
Oh, sorry, 8. There was a bunch of them,
Yeah.
and every groomsman that come down the aisle
Typical guy does not
ratcheted-
remember the wedding.
ratcheted up the embarrassment.
Oh my word, it was awful. It was
They
awful.
all owed me something.
Yeah. They did. You know what? I had to.
You
suffer
weren't even
through
out
that
there.
Payback.
You weren't
It
even
doesn't
out
matter.
there.
I had to watch the video. I
You
had
were
to
in the
see it.
back room contemplating whether you were going to walk down the aisle.
Yeah.
No, I was in the back room learning the song that I was going to sing.
Performed?
I sang at my own wedding, and I learned the song like 30 minutes before.
We listened to
I was
this.
like,
We listened to the song for the first time in 21 years. Yes,
did on the way
yesterday on the way
home.
home. It's a Barbara Streisand song.
Yeah, happy anniversary, by the way, if you missed. Come on.
Yeah.
Anniversary shout outs.
I know. So how long have you guys been married?
3 months.
3 months.
3 months. They're still on that honeymoon phase.
And they have a dog.
And we have a dog who likes to be outside and does not like to be in a small 1-bedroom apartment in the middle of the city. So, mind control. Back to your question.
Oh, there we go. There we
the
go.
funniest thing I've heard, though, is that so Leslie moved from Memphis to Nashville, where David lives, and they got in this apartment. Like one of the first weeks that she was in the apartment, she was already looking for new homes.
First day. First day, everybody.
I said to David,
First day.
well, "Welcome. You have a
If you're
lifetime
thinking
of
about
that."
moving to Nashville, I just want you to know the housing market will make you reconsider that choice. And this is an awesome church. So I'm just blowing that out there. If
Keep
you're
speaking, brother. Keep
curious,
speaking,
so what
brother.
it's like.
So David tells me that, and I said, "Hey, listen, you could buy a whole lot of
Yeah.
house in Southern Illinois."
buy
Did I
a
know?
house
I
in
said, "You
Southern
could buy
Illinois."
a whole house in Southern
Yeah.
Illinois with lots of bathrooms and lots of bedrooms, and I can pick on you in person more."
Hey, I'm just believing for that SIWC campus. That's STCC.
Oh, there you go.
Tennessee.
See? Yeah, how does that
You'll have
work?
to change it.
STWC.
Yeah.
We had an online not live at night question about where the people would want to be,
Yeah.
campuses, and Nashville was one of them,
I'm just saying.
and then Florida.
I believe.
And if we'd have done that 2 weeks ago, everybody would have been like, anywhere but here.
Yeah.
With all the snow.
With all the snow,
I'm
yeah.
always curious, the pastor who tells his congregation, I think God's calling me to Hawaii. Like, I think anybody would want to be a
Yeah.
church planner in Hawaii.
Yeah,
you
really.
know?
Yeah, really. Well, one
If
time
Greg
we
and Crystal
actually,
are on, they're going, yes, Lord, please.
yeah, we actually had a pastor tell us one time, he said, you know what, I chose the location that I chose, and I told the Lord I was going to plant a church there because I could go out on a boat every single day, you know, whatever. And I said, and I was listening to him, and I was
Yeah.
like, and I said, you actually told the Lord where you were going to plant a church, just ask him to bless it? And he said, sure did. And I thought, man, why didn't I think of that? Instead, I said, Lord, you lead, I follow. I'm in Heron.
Awesome.
All right, so
now
this is.
they're coming in. Florida campus.
Florida.
They're gonna be.
Hey,
Yeah.
I was in Florida last week. It's toasty. Toasty.
Oh no! Florida doesn't get toasty.
Toasty.
That's my kind.
I'm
that's
pale.
my-
I'm Irish and English. It's toasty.
No,
Melissa likes it so hot.
I
I
like
think
it
she,
hot.
I think she would frustrate the devil in hell. Hey, that's how
she's
hot
in
she
her
likes
bag.
it.
I like it hot. In
Yeah.
fact, I would rather have it hot than cold.
Oh yeah. No.
And you know, the Bible says that I would rather you be hot or cold. You know, not lukewarm.
You have to read this
Okay,
answer.
here we go.
I want to change my answer. This is Justin Venus. I want to change my answer to the would you rather. I want to go back to electronics so I can go back in time and control Pastor Evan Milby's dog. If you watch Live at 9 at all, you know the story. Evan and Lana went out of time. Justin was watching the dog. Evan lived just down the street from the church. And we're all here at the church, and we
Were
see
they
Justin.
married yet?
I don't know if they were married, but Justin was running after the dog.
It took Justin
And then
forever.
a
to
couple
find
hours later, we saw Justin run back after back after Evan and Lana's dog. And I just hollered out at him, "Let him die. Evan will be
Yeah.
fine."
No, we love Bella. She's an awesome dog. We love Bella. She's awesome.
The Bible does say, "Love our enemies."
Yeah, there we go. All right, you ready?
Okay.
Would you rather, we just have a few minutes, be an average person? Now, this is kind of a strange question,
Counting
but
calls to be average.
be an,
Can't even believe you're going to read this.
an over-the-top, amazing, spirit of excellence, awesome. Yeah, like awesome.
Evan said every time he comes into your office, it's so warm he loses 3 pounds. And she's complaining about it being hot up here. So you know that David and I are
76.
suffering for Christ
It's
right now.
76 right
I look
now.
over to my left and to my right, and I kid you not, there's sweat, like beat it up.
I got a sweatshirt on
Yeah,
because
I
we
need
were
a pair.
outside for a while. And
Yeah.
You're kind of thankful for
What's
that
I
short
know.
sleeve shirt,
What's,
right?
what's the
Here we
question?
go. Would you rather be an average person in the present or a king of a large country 2,500 years ago?
oh, present. I like modern day plumbing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying. I
I'm
don't
a
know.
lord in the now, so I'll stick with it.
Oh my word.
I'm
Oh
the
my.
Lord now.
I'm good.
Oh my
No,
goodness.
why would you want to? No, I'm good right now.
It's 76 and creative on Mondays and Thursdays, is what Ashley said. The staff is all
Monday
chiming.
through Thursday.
Monday. Oh, yeah.
Monday through Thursday. You know, I don't know. Leslie and I were talking about this earlier. How I like everything. I like everything, and you know, I'm an average person right now. So mine would be, I would want to go back and be, I'd be a queen, 2,500 years ago, just to see it, just to
Oh,
experience it.
You could take the modern philosophy and go back, and even though you were a female, you should say, "I'm a king." That's how I identify.
There you go. I don't think that would work.
No.
Just a hunch. They might pull out a
Queen.
sword.
2,500 years ago. I think that would be super cool. So anyway, yeah, just because, you know what, it's one of those things I get to experience.
Yeah.
So yeah,
They
I'm
And
have
she would
all
like
about
it.
fairs.
She would like it like for a month.
They do have Renaissance fairs.
Interesting.
I've
Yeah.
never been to one.
David, you've heard me describe Melissa this way. You know, Melissa has OCD and ADD, so it's got to be perfect, but just for a little while. So that's
Sounds
pretty
like a bumper sticker.
I mean, that's like her whole life. You know, I
Yeah.
really want to go here. We get there,
know-
she's like, I really want to go there.
You know. Hey guys, guess what? We're a minute away from Live at
let's keep
Night
talking
ending
about
tonight.
Melissa.
So listen, if you have a prayer request, drop that in the comments.
Yeah.
Sunday recap will happen tomorrow night at Live at 9. So Sunday recap will happen tomorrow night at Live at 9. It's not often we get a special guest with us. So super excited to have David Lord with us tonight, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. Hope for Justice.
Yeah.
If you didn't get that website, Justin posted that for you, hopeforjustice.org. Go on there, read about it, connect with it, follow them on social media. You can find them on Facebook, you can find them on Instagram. Follow them, stay current with what they're doing, become a guardian. If you feel led by the Lord to do that, what better way to change a life than to help bring justice and freedom. And I love it. All the freedom locks. I saw the social post on that, and we were able to write a name and put a lock on the wall. And
you're right in the middle of the wall.
I know.
Right, SNWC is in the middle of the Freedom Wall.
I know, and Ben was there the day that we were able to put the lock on the wall, and honored to have been with us last year, and hopefully we'll hear from him soon in some way, shape, or form.
Oh,
we'll hear
I've got
from him.
something for you.
Oh, we got something for us. But listen, so thankful for all of you who financially contribute each month. You guys are awesome. You're what make SIWC you help us to support Hope for Justice. So so thankful for your overwhelming generosity. You guys are amazing. Again, if you have a prayer request or a praise report, just a praise that you want us to celebrate with you, drop that in the comments tonight. We're believing for you to have a great week, believing that God's going to do something amazing this week. God is with you. God is for you. God loves you. He's got your back, and He is leading the way. And so I'm thankful for that. So thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for joining us today on Cider Online. God did some amazing things. Listen, if God did something for you today in the services, drop that in the comments too. We want to hear from you. And thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, SNWC.
Thank you.
Love
Thank
y'all.
you. A whole hour you spent with
Come
us
on,
tonight.
somebody.
You even got some would you rather questions.
Don't you want to be our friend now? We just throw you in front of a camera when you come to hang out. But you're
Family.
You're totally in our lives. This is the way our life works on Sunday evenings, and get to hang out with our friends, and we got some cool ones. So we thank you all. I'll see you tomorrow night live at 9. We'll be back on the green comfy couch that you've grown accustomed to, and we'll do Sunday recap then. Until then, have a wonderful night. We'll see you soon. Be blessed.
Amen.
weary land. In a weary land. Oh, in a weary land. Jesus. In a weary land. Delta. He's a shelter. Oh,